What if an alien invasion was the best thing that could happen to humanity? In this powerful episode of Paradox Experience podcast, we explore the thought experiment that an external existential threat would force us to overcome our deepest political and cultural divides. But the real paradox of our time is this. The biggest challenge we face isn't from outer space, it's from within our own political polarization. This episode addresses the political divide and affective polarization, challenging listeners to reconsider their relationships with those who hold different views. We explore how grassroots community efforts can help bridge the gap and foster a more civil society. So join me as we tackle the central question of our time. Can we find a shared purpose and political unity without a common enemy? Tune in to this insightful discussion on finding humanity in our opponents and building a more cohesive society. Welcome back to Paradox Experience Podcast, the podcast where we dive into the big questions that don't have easy answers. I'm Patrick, your host, and today we're tackling a thought experiment that's been on my mind. I was thinking about something that feels almost like science fiction. What if aliens showed up, not for diplomacy, but to destroy us? The conversation in my head that followed was interesting. There's a lot of things going on over there. And the consensus was clear. An external existential threat would probably force us to put aside our differences. The political left and right, with all their deep disagreements, would have to unite. Why? Because an alien invasion would make the survival of our species the ultimate common value. Our differences in religion, tradition, and political belief would instantly become secondary to the one thing we all share: a home and a fate. I'm not saying to put away your faith, values, and beliefs, but that's a paradox in itself, isn't it? The biggest challenge we face isn't a threat from outer space, it's the divide right here at home. We seem to be a species that needs a common enemy to be a common people. The central paradox of our time is this. Can we find that same sense of unity and shared purpose when the problem isn't an alien ship, but ourselves? If I could humbly ask for anything right now, it would be to ask all of you, dear viewers, to subscribe to the channel, like and comment. Without you, what I'm doing won't make much difference. My promise is to make every episode bigger and better. It's to make sure you get the best possible reviews, interesting information, paradoxes, obviously, and knowledge you couldn't possibly get it anywhere else. So please, click that subscribe button and leave a like. It only takes 2 seconds, but it means a lot to me because it lets me know that I'm doing something valuable for you. Thank you, and back to the podcast. We live in times of political divide. The people have been divided by politics and media. We no longer talk, we no longer debate, and we no longer share our differences together in a civilized way. Are we on the brink of destruction? Can we ever come together again as two opposite sides? Blue and red, liberals and conservatives, those who speak and those who listen. Where did we go wrong? This episode is dedicated towards finding an answer, or at least pushing towards understanding what has been forgotten. Usually to understand the present, we need to go back in time and look at past of our ancestors. I found few examples from all over the world where empathy, honor, and respect, those human traits that used to mean something, prevailed in times of murder, chaos, and divide. One of the most famous examples of a conqueror showing respect to a defeated enemy's last wishes comes from ancient Rome. I'm going to read them for you quickly. After the Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BC, Julius Caesar defeated his rival, Pompey the Great. Pompey fled to Egypt, where he was assassinated. When Caesar arrived in Egypt and was presented with Pompey's head, he was reportedly horrified and saddened. He is said to have wept and honored Pompey by giving him a proper funeral and monument. Caesar's act was not only a sign of respect for his former friend and son-in-law, but also a strategic move to demonstrate his magnanimity and desire to unite Rome rather than punish those who had opposed him. Another example is from the Edo period in Japan. After the siege of Osaka in 1615, the forces of Tokugawa Ieyasu defeated the Toyotomi clan. The young leader, Toyotomi Hideyori, and his mother Yodo Dono took refuge in Osaka Castle. Realizing the battle was lost, they committed ritual suicide, seppuku. Tokugawa Ieyasu, who had been a vassal of the Toyotomi family's founder, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, did not desecrate the remains and instead had them properly buried, acknowledging the respect owed to their noble status and finality of their defeat. This act was seen as a sign of respect for a defeated but once powerful lineage. A third example can be found in the American Civil War. After the surrender of the Army of Northern Virginia at Appomattox Courthouse, I hope I said that correct, in 1865, Union General Ulysses S. Grant showed great respect to Confederate General Robert E. Lee. As part of the surrender terms, Grant allowed the Confederate officers to keep their sidearms, and more importantly, he allowed the Confederate soldiers to return to their homes with their horses and mules. This was a crucial gesture, as these animals were vital for spring planting and survival. This act of mercy and honor helped to ease the transition back to civilian life and was a key step in the process of national reconciliation after a devastating conflict. Yeah. So those were those three examples that I wanted you to hear, basically. Okay. Matthew chapter 5, verse 43 to 48. This is one of the most direct and well-known teachings from Jesus. As we all know, Jesus was a prophet and a teacher, and for millions around the world, even today, he was God. He says, "You have heard that it was said, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven." Do you know the definition of respect? I Googled it. So, one of the simplest ways to honor human dignity is to treat every person with respect, regardless of their status or background. This means showing courtesy, avoiding harmful language, and recognizing others as valuable members of society. If we can't rely on an alien invasion to unite us, we have to find common ground another way. And the first step might be to stop seeing each other as enemies. Political polarization is often driven by something called affective polarization. And I didn't know that until recently. That's a fancy term for a simple idea. We don't just disagree with the other side, we actively dislike them. We believe they're more extreme, more hateful, and more anti-democratic than they really are. This dislike isn't based on policy, but on emotion. So how do we fix that? We start by closing the distance. Instead of arguing online, we can get in the room together. Think about local communities where people from different political backgrounds have to work together to fix a pothole or get a new playground built. In those moments, the political labels fades away and all you see is a shared struggle to improve your neighborhood. Or think of SEALs or soldiers in the army, where they come from all different backgrounds, but it doesn't matter that they come from different parts of even the world, but their sole purpose and mission is to watch after one another. It's about brotherhood. It's not about religion or political differences, because they definitely have different opinions, but they need to depend on each other. That's why the solution might not be about changing minds, but about changing hearts. What if we could just see each other as human beings again, even when we disagree? But it's not just about us. The system we operate in is also part of the problem, at least I think. Our current political structure seems designed to create this divide, not bridge it. Maybe the solution isn't at the top, but at the bottom. The most powerful thing we could do is focus on our own towns and communities and build bridges right there at home. By working together on issues that directly affect our daily lives, we can bypass the gridlock of national politics and build the kind of trust that has been lost. But what do I know? I'm just a guy talking to a mic, throwing ideas around. I can't force you to believe what you believe. But human decency, respect, honor, those human traits we forgot about, I think they need to rise again. We all share the same fate. We are all going to leave this world at some stage. I don't think we need to argue about that. The survival of the next generations, our kids, our descendants, depends on us. So where does that leave us? The alien scenario taught us that the survival of humanity is our ultimate shared value. But the paradoxical truth is that we have to work just as hard to find that shared value when the threat is much closer to home. We have to be the aliens for ourselves, a force so unifying that it makes our current divisions seem trivial. The solution to political division isn't to force everyone to agree. It's to create a world where we can disagree peacefully and productively. It's a paradox, but it's a truth worth embracing. So the question remains, do you think a solution is possible? Is it about finding a new common enemy, or just finding the humanity in the one we already have? I'd love to hear your thoughts about that, so let me know in the comments, please. But can we? What values hold us together? What traditions give us guidelines towards what and who should we be? When are we going to realize that in order to create good and strong society, we need to be as one? Just because we don't understand someone else's values and opinions doesn't mean that we can do them harm, humiliate them, curse them, or punish them. This brings me towards what recently happened in the US, where one of the great peaceful thinking minds got brutally executed while simply talking and sharing his values and speaking the truth, trying to communicate with the other side of public opinion, trying to bridge the gap between a discord, giving others possibility for an open conversation, cherishing the Christian family and conservative values. Charlie Kirk was killed by someone who disagreed with him. Whether you like it or not, his views resonated with many. Many hated him, but again, why not just to try to understand? Reason with the fact that someone might have different opinion on some. I've recently watched Arnold Schwarzenegger commenting on this recently, and he said that we are heading towards a cliff, and once we fall, there is no democracy there. on the bottom of that cliff. So go ahead and watch this quick video. I'll see you straight after.
I was very, very upset that someone's life was taken because they have a different opinion. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, this was a great communicator, a great advocate for the right, for Republican causes. And he had such a great way of communicating with the students that agreed or disagreed with him. And I just thought of it's a human being. A human life is gone. And he was a great father, a great husband. And I was thinking about his children. They will only be reading about him now, instead of him reading to them bedtime stories. Since then, there are endless amount of debates about how do we stop this. But we have to acknowledge that the cause of all of this is the social media companies that are dividing us, the mainstream media companies that are dividing us, the political parties, the Democrats that are dividing us, the Republicans that are dividing us. So we're getting hit from so many different angles. And we have to be very careful that we don't get any closer to that cliff. Because when you fall down that cliff, down there is no democracy. People always say, well, what can I do? I'm just an individual. But each and every one of you in here can make a difference. You can show leadership. This is about leadership. This is the time to show leadership. How you not see the other side as the enemy, or to fight fire with fire, like they're saying today, or to declare war on each other, as they're saying today. You can show leadership, and you can get together and be this example. Because remember, the people power is the ultimate power.
He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And I'm quoting Jesus again. So next time you think about picking up the stone online or in real life, laugh or mock someone, know that it could be you on the receiving end. Fight evil with good. I think that's my short, but I think valuable insight on this. Thank you for watching Paradox Experience Podcast. I hope this episode was somehow valuable to you, even if it was short. And if it was, hit that subscribe button and leave a like and let me know what you think in the comments section. Respect and peace to you all. Until next time. See ya.